Today I am showing you guys how coolant runs through an engine when it's off and when it's on. We're going to start with off first. So first, the water pump pulls coolant from the lower radiator hose. So the water pump is here and it comes down here and pulls through the radiator. Second, it is not visible, but the coolant is pushed through the engine water jackets, which is inside the engine block. Some coolant would flow through the heater core, allowing heat to go into the cabin. Then the coolant would flow up the cylinder head water jackets. Since the thermostat is closed, the coolant would just cycle through the engine, keeping it nice and cool. The coolant then returns from the engine back into the water pump. Now we will be doing when the engine is on. So first, the water pump will pull coolant through the lower coolant hose. Then coolant circulates through engine block water jackets. Then the coolant goes through cylinder heads, absorbing all the heat. Hot coolant then reaches the thermostat. Thermostat opens at around 195 Fahrenheit. Then the coolant would move through the top of the radiator. Hot coolant then flows through the upper radiator hose. As the coolant moves down the radiator, these electric fans would cool down the coolant. The cool coolant would now be sitting in the bottom of the radiator, so underneath here. Then the coolant would enter back through the lower radiator hose and into the water pump, and the cycle repeats. As coolant gets hot, it expands, so the excess coolant would be put into the overfill tank, and then it slowly cools down, which allows it to go back into the radiator. So how these guys cool down the coolant is the coolant comes through a sensor, which sends a signal to the computer. The computer in the car would turn on these fans, sucking air through the radiator, which allows extra cooling. Once the coolant is cooled, the fans will turn off. The computer will turn the fans off.